So the Los Angeles Rams just went out and decided to sign A'Shawn Robinson, and I actually really like this move. I think this could be a great fit for them. I think that, he's somebody that at his best can be a ferocious run defender. In fact, in 2018, he was one of the best run defenders in the entire league. Now, admittedly, you look at his 4 seasons, he definitely was at his best in 2018. He had, I wouldn't even say a down year, but he didn't quite look as good out there last year. But let's be honest, no Detroit Lion did. So I'm not sure how much I would really blame him. I think part of it might go just into the system. And he wasn't terrible either. I mean, he had his moments. Like, let's just start things off with this play, where what's going to happen is that right now for Washington, they're going to have their center be the one who is blocking Robinson, which just, thinking about it that way seems like it would be a mismatch. But keep in mind the fact that this is going to be a run to the right side of the screen, and so with the angle and the fact that there is a little bit more time for a center to get his hands up and get in position, this actually is nowhere near as bad of a situation as typically having a center going up one-on-one against a defensive lineman would be. And so after the ball is snapped, nothing too fancy, contact is made, and if you look at the right side of the screen where there is going to be some room for the halfback to run, there's definitely a gap here. This is a good situation for Washington. And so you might be wondering why I'm bringing up this play if it's a video about Robinson. But the reason why I'm going to bring up this play is watch how Robinson is just sort of able to push this pile further enough back that it closes up the window enough that the halfback doesn't want to continue running in that direction. He cuts back in and ends up not being able to gain too many yards. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do if you are a defensive lineman. It's not easy to do whatsoever. That's actually a very difficult play to pull off, but he was able to pull it off, and he pulled it off very well. One other thing that this is going to be kind of a weird thing to say, but he has long arms, and I think his long arms really have some key benefits. Like, if you look at this play, that's where he is on the screen, but ideally for the Redskins, they're not even really going to have to worry about Robinson, because what they're going to do is just run a screen pass to the right side of the screen. And so the idea is, hey, just push Robinson a little bit, but then let him run by you, so that way you can move up and block somebody else, and he's out of the play because he'll be behind the halfback. However, luckily for the Lions, or not really luckily, but, good job by the Lions of making sure they first things first do cover up a halfback. And now at this point, Haskins is going to try something else. He's not going to just throw the ball into the ground. Maybe that would have been smart, but he's going to see if he can do something else. And really, the only guy who couldn't make a play is Robinson, who, keep in mind, Washington was totally letting get near Haskins. So Haskins tries to scramble around, but again, look at those long arms. Look how he's able to sort of dive, and actually it counts as a sack right there. He's just able to make that play. I feel like he's done this a couple times. That's not the only instance I've seen him do that. So, making those plays like that where it seems like you're going to be able to get through him and then you're just not, that's just another thing that he brings to the table for sure. I also really like this play where what's going to happen is that this is going to be a cover one play, and there's a receiver running that route right there. So on paper, this is a good route for the Redskins, and after the ball is snapped, you notice receiver's about to cut. There's going to be a big window for Haskins to make this throw. This play is working out well, but, as you're wondering, okay, Robinson's probably going to do something here, right? Well, you look at Robinson, and he's currently getting double-teamed right here, so there's not really too much he can do. And quite frankly, as we all know, the Lions don't like the blitz. They don't like to rush four that often, honestly. They'll have a lot of three-man rushes and very few five-man rushes. But one thing that you can do if you're getting double-teamed and you're getting taken out of the play is just get your hands up. Try to deflect the pass, and that's what he's able to do. And keep in mind, that wasn't just any play. That was almost definitely going to be a completion. There was a big window, but Robinson got his hands up, knocked the ball away. There was even a chance that one could have been an interception. So, that's just another positive benefit of getting your hands up. Really just a tremendous play by Robinson. And I do actually feel like when he had some one-on-one matchups, he was really able to thrive. Like on this play, what's going to happen is that you're going to see that there are 3 Lions on the left side of the screen who are lined up with the center, right guard, and right tackle. And so one of them is obviously going to drop back into coverage. It's going to be, not obviously, but one of them on this play is going to drop back into coverage. It's going to be 52 right there. Meaning that, for the guard, he's going to have to choose after the ball is snapped who he wants to block. So therefore, one of the Detroit players will be getting a one-on-one matchup to go straight to a quarterback. And in this situation, as you see, the guard moves over to block 98 right there, which leaves 91, A'Shawn Robinson. He's got a one-on-one matchup. Again, he doesn't get these too often, but I do feel like he has done a solid job of making the most of these opportunities. He will occasionally win those one-on-one matchups, which is what you want in a guy. And on this play, watch how he's just able to overpower that guard, and he runs over, and he only gets credit for half a sack because it looked Trey Flowers was also in that area and able to make a play. But regardless, it just kind of shows that, okay, this guy can win some one-on-one matchups. This guy can overpower people. If you just look at the numbers, you'll be like, okay, wow, he must not be very good then, right? I mean, those statistics, not that great. In 4 seasons, the guy only has 5 sacks. Now, he does have 172 combined tackles to go along with that. You know, he's averaging over 40 combined tackles a season, so that's pretty good. But at the same time, you know, looking at especially the sack numbers, which is what people tend to look at, it's not that impressive, but that's also not really his job. He is more of a run defender, a guy who can rush the passer on certain situations when he gets a favorable matchup, but he hasn't gotten too many favorable matchups, and he will get a lot more playing for the Los Angeles Rams with Aaron Donald next to him. I mean, that's pretty much a dream situation, I feel like, for an interior lineman. And I do think that it's going to be tough because I don't know how you're going to run against those two guys. I mean, that's going to be very difficult. So I really like this move from the Rams' perspective to add him. I think it makes some sense. And, you know, they're buying low a little bit with him coming off of a year where nobody in that Detroit Lions defense performed particularly well. Part of it is probably coaching. Part of it is I think guys just underperformed too. You can't pretend like that didn't happen. But it'll be interesting to see how much of it truly was his fault and how much of it will maybe just be coaching, and maybe he'll be able to really thrive when he moves to another team. It'll be interesting to see. Really, it's his strength that I like about him. And like on this play, for example, what's going to happen is that he's going up one-on-one against the right guard right here, but since the run is going to be in between the guard and the center, that guard's job is he's just going to try to get Robinson to the left side of the screen, to his right, but to our left. And the reason why he's trying to do that is simply because he wants to get him away from the halfback. He doesn't care really about how far back he gets pushed, just get him away from the halfback. That's the job here. However, after the ball is snapped, look at how far Robinson does in fact push him back. I mean, they're like 2 or 3 yards further deep, and now at this point, there is a very small gap where Robinson can pretty much easily run over and be able to make this play. He's able to make the tackle. And again, it's that strength that he brings to the table for the Rams. He's just a big, strong guy, not easy to get moved around whatsoever. I mean, 6'4", 330 pounds. Yeah, that's a lot of muscle to try to move around. And on top of it, he can move. He has decent footwork, and as you've seen, he has those long arms. I mean, you know, he's able to dive out and get people. And oh, by the way, he just turned 25, actually 8 days ago. So, you know, pretty interesting stuff. And even though you only will look at, you know, the 1.5 sacks, which is definitely on the low end, he had 12 pressures. So, you know, that's definitely a bit higher. So, you know, pressures are something that people like to look at. At the end of the day, I like the signing. For one thing, I don't think the Rams are dead. I talked about this on one of my podcasts I did recently. You could argue that $12 million over 2 years is a bit high, but I don't really see it that way. Yeah, it's a little high, but I think that having a really good run-stopping interior lineman for $6 million a year is very good. And you know what? If they cut him after this first season, they only have to pay him $2.5 million. That's only the dead cap. So it's a pretty low-risk, high-reward type play. And again, I mean, this could be a very difficult team to run on. They were really good last year. Their defense was a lot better last year than it was the year before, honestly. It's just their offense kind of fell off a cliff. So I don't think the Rams are dead. I really don't. I think that, you know, Goff is still young. He's still got to get smarter with the football, no doubt about it. But I still trust Sean McVay a lot. I think he's very good. I think that their running game could potentially be better. And I also just think that their defense will be better. It's continuing to get better, and I really love this signing. I think the demise of the Rams is greatly exaggerated. At the end of the day, they still have a great head coach. They still have the best player in football in Aaron Donald. They still have, in my opinion, a good quarterback in Jared Goff. Don't freak out about Los Angeles. honestly, the worst thing for the Rams is just the fact that they play in a ridiculous division with the Cardinals, who just got DeAndre Hopkins, the Seahawks, and then also your reigning NFC champions, the 49ers. I mean, what a ridiculous division. We got a ton of fun games to watch with all of those guys playing. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, but I love this signing. I think it's very underrated. Not a lot of people are going to talk about it, but it could end up being a huge signing. That's what I think. I'd like to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this signing of A'Shawn Robinson? I do like it, but I'd like to know what you guys think. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.